So I've heard players say, including myself, I feared Mike. I've heard players in your generation say they feared Kobe. I've never really heard any players say they fear LeBron.
The NBA used to feel like a battlefield. It was rough, loud, and unforgiving. Every night meant something. You stepped on that court knowing someone was trying to take your spot. But now the league's biggest star is out there dancing before tip-off, smiling for the cameras, calling himself the greatest because he stuck around long enough to stack up numbers. Let's be honest. If Michael Jordan had played in this era, with this spacing, these soft whistles, and this freedom of movement, he might have wrapped up the record books in 8 seasons or less. Longevity is impressive, sure, but dominance? That's a different conversation entirely. And here's where things really heat up. Word is, Shaquille O'Neal has reached his limit. The image, the flashy appearances, the viral moments, the constant need for attention. Add that to what some fans see as subtle jabs at the legends who sacrificed everything for this league, and you start to understand why tensions are rising. Shaq isn't just reacting to championships or stats, he's reacting to culture, to the feeling that something about the league's edge has changed. By the end of this breakdown, you might start questioning whether the story around LeBron's career has been polished a little too perfectly. Real fans remember when the NBA felt like psychological warfare. It wasn't just skill, it was intimidation. It was mind games. It was stepping into hostile arenas where veterans would test you on every possession. That era built reputations through fear and consistency. Compare that to today's environment, where image sometimes feels just as important as impact. When the Lakers were fighting for a position in the standings, and LeBron joked at the mic, calling himself a goofy 41-year-old kid, some people laughed, others cringed. Because this is the same player the media places in the same sentence as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. That comparison carries weight.
Because the game is different. Like, I want people to understand, and our fans to understand, that playing 82 games in the 80s and 90s is not the same as playing 82 games in the 2020s.
This was hours ago here at the arena. LeBron James going through what looks to be a...
What even is LeBron James's new warm-up routine? Basically, LeBron throws up the basketball as high as he can, and once it lands, everyone on the team squats with him. And then LeBron just trots off.
Shaq's frustration, according to critics, isn't about rings alone. It's about aura, about presence. Think back to the 90s Bulls. You didn't see Jordan performing for the crowd before tip-off. You saw focus. You saw a man locked in, cigar smoke in the air, eyes cold, sending a message without saying a word. When you faced Kobe, you felt that famous Mamba stare, that silent intensity that made even veterans uncomfortable. With LeBron, you get social media clips, choreographed warm-ups, viral moments. Some fans enjoy it. Others see it as a shift from intimidation to entertainment. And that's the real debate. Has the league evolved for the better, or has it traded edge for showmanship? Is greatness about numbers, branding, and longevity? Or is it about fear, dominance, and the feeling that every time you step on the court, someone's career might change because you were there? That tension is what keeps this conversation alive. Or take that new Lakers warm-up routine. The one people say looks more like a middle school drama club rehearsal than a playoff prep session. That clip alone had the internet going wild. And Shaq? He has been the loudest voice calling it out. Not whispering, not hinting, calling it out straight up. On his podcast, Shaquille O'Neal made it clear, to him, the greatest of all time is not about who trends on social media or who smiles the most in pregame. It is about dominance. It is about walking into an arena and making grown professionals feel small. Shaq's mindset was simple. You do not become king because everyone likes you. You become king because nobody can stop you. In his era, if a star saw you dancing before tip-off, they took it personally. That was motivation. That was bulletin board material. They would circle your name and make sure you paid for it. Now compare that to the current culture. LeBron has built a brand around being loose, playful, even goofy at times. Some fans love it. Others see it as a lack of presence. Even Kevin Garnett has talked about how the Boston Celtics did not fear LeBron in those early playoff battles. Garnett's argument was that they tested him mentally in 2010 and found cracks. Whether you agree or not, that narrative stuck. Contrast that with the stories about Michael Jordan. There are former players who have admitted they felt nervous just checking into a game when Jordan was already on the floor. That is aura. That is intimidation. Fans have had a field day roasting the new LeBron warm-up routine. They say it is distracting. They say while teammates are locking in, the supposed leader is playing to the cameras. Fair or not, perception matters. Shaq's philosophy was always about force. You arrive, you dominate, you leave. No 10-minute performance, no viral dance clips, just results. Then came 2016. The Cleveland Cavaliers pull off the historic comeback against the Golden State Warriors, down 3-1. Incredible moment, legendary series. But right after that, LeBron looked into the camera and declared himself the greatest. For some, it was confidence. For others, it was self-coronation. In the eras of Jordan, Kobe, and Shaq, the rule was different. You did not name yourself king. You made the world say it for you because they had no other choice.
Broke LeBron.
In Game 5.
So get your to him, okay? The media and the league knew that they had an agenda in which we wasn't part of the agenda. You understand? That's how they ended up winning that series. Yeah, I said it. We didn't give a about LeBron. We didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he can beat all 5 of us.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For so many reasons.
Do you think Jordan sat at a podium trying to convince reporters he was the best? No. He went 6 for 6 in the finals and let the silence speak. Kobe Bryant collected 5 rings and never needed a public declaration. The resume did the talking. With LeBron, critics argue the branding has always been part of the package, the chosen one tattoo, the constant narrative push, the marketing machine. The media often highlights that LeBron is the all-time leading scorer, and that is a massive achievement. But critics fire back with context. He has played over 2 decades to get there. Jordan won 10 scoring titles in roughly 11 full seasons with the Chicago Bulls. LeBron has 1 scoring title. When people talk peak dominance, they bring up Shaq in the early 2000s as a force that felt unstoppable. A 3-peat with the Los Angeles Lakers. Finals MVP each time. Pure power. Then there is the finals record debate. LeBron has multiple championships, but also multiple losses on that stage. Critics argue that when the lights were brightest, Jordan never let it slip. 6 appearances, 6 titles, no Game 7 in the finals. That statistic has become a weapon in every barbershop argument. And then there is 2010. The Decision, the hour-long television special announcing his move to the Miami Heat to join Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh. For supporters, it was player empowerment. For critics, it was strategic stacking. Later, the return to Cleveland with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Then the move to the Lakers to team up with Anthony Davis. Shaq sees a pattern, not just dominance, but situation building, moving pieces until the board looks perfect. Recently, when asked for his all-time starting 5, Shaq left LeBron off the list. He included names like Kobe, Jordan, and even Stephen Curry. That omission spoke loudly without needing an explanation. At the core, this is not just about stats, it is about philosophy. One side says longevity plus excellence equals greatness. The other side says peak dominance, fear factor, and unquestioned aura define the real legends. LeBron's career is historic. Shaq's peak was terrifying. Jordan's finals record is spotless. Kobe's mentality became a global symbol. Different eras, different styles, same never-ending debate. LeBron sits at 4 wins and 6 losses in the finals. That number follows him everywhere. Add in the team changes, from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Miami Heat, back to Cleveland, then to the Los Angeles Lakers, and critics frame it one way. They ask a blunt question. Do you want a king who stayed put and fought through the storm, or a superstar who adjusted the chessboard every few years to improve his odds? That is the core of the debate. Loyalty versus leverage. Blood and grit versus strategy and longevity. Shaq has clearly made his choice on that spectrum. To Shaq, greatness is not about surviving 20-plus seasons. It is about who ruled when the game felt like combat. He came up in an era where the paint was crowded, elbows flew, and every drive came with consequences. So when LeBron talks about modern pace and space being tougher, some former players roll their eyes. On the Mind the Game podcast, LeBron argued that playing 82 games today demands more movement, more ground covered, more strain. Critics counter by pointing to the physical battles of the 80s and 90s, when defenders could body you up and hand check without instant whistles. They say running is one thing, taking hits is another. Mention the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s and you hear stories about bruises, ice baths, and survival. Veterans from that era often describe how they had to physically recover just to stand up the next morning. Today's players have elite recovery tools, advanced nutrition, and sports science on their side. That does not mean it is easy now. It means the environment is different. Shaq's argument is simple. Rules shape legacies. Freedom of movement rules, and the 2004 hand-checking changes opened the floor for perimeter stars. Defensive 3 seconds reshaped the paint. In his view, those shifts extended careers.
But, sometimes if guys are not able to play, the guys are literally not able to play. It's not like we're like shitting on, national televised games.
Shaq played through the hack-a-Shaq years. He absorbed constant contact in the post. When he says he would average massive numbers under modern spacing, that is his belief that today's restrictions would favor his power. On the flip side, supporters of LeBron argue that versatility, conditioning, and skill have never been higher. The league evolves. Every era has its edge. Then there is the off-court conversation. Critics say Jordan and Kobe kept their circles tight, focused on business and competition. LeBron, on the other hand, has always been comfortable in entertainment spaces, from Hollywood meetings to high-profile parties. A viral clip of him joking, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," made waves online after controversies surrounded Sean Combs. Some fans brushed it off as a throwaway line. Others saw it as a bad look tied to the wrong energy at the wrong time. And yes, that viral costume photo people call the maid outfit sparked another wave of commentary. Some labeled it humor, others called it embarrassing for the face of the league. In today's social media era, every image becomes a headline. For older legends who built their brands on mystique and intimidation, that level of openness can feel foreign. At the end of the day, this is bigger than one clip or one statistic. It is a clash of philosophies. Shaq, Jordan, and Kobe built reputations around fear factor and peak dominance. LeBron built his on longevity, versatility, and cultural reach. One side sees marketing and image management, the other sees evolution and empowerment. The argument is not going anywhere because it is not just about numbers. It is about what each generation believes a king should look like. Can you honestly picture Michael Jordan, the ultimate competitor, agreeing to anything that made him look less than dominant just to fit into an entertainment moment? Or Kobe Bryant playing along with a joke that chipped away at his killer image? That is the comparison critics keep throwing out there. For them, it is not even about one costume or one viral clip. It is about image control. It is about how a superstar chooses to present himself to the world. The controversy around parties linked to Sean Combs only poured gasoline on that debate. A short IG Live clip, a few words shouted in celebration, and suddenly the internet had a narrative. Some fans laughed it off. Others felt it crossed a line, especially with serious allegations surrounding that circle. Fair or not, when you are the face of the league, every association gets magnified. That is the price of being the king. Then there is the load management conversation. In 2026, LeBron missed a game against the San Antonio Spurs due to foot issues, which meant he did not qualify for all NBA or MVP honors under the 65-game rule. That sparked outrage. Critics jumped on it as proof that you cannot claim the crown if you are not available. Supporters argued that at 41, managing health is smart, not soft. This is where eras clash again. Back in the 80s and 90s, the expectation was simple. If you could walk, you played. Larry Bird battled through brutal back problems. Isaiah Thomas famously scored in the finals on a badly injured ankle. Kobe played through finger injuries and adjusted his mechanics. Jordan logged 9 full 82-game seasons, even suiting up at age 40 with the Washington Wizards. That mentality built a myth around toughness. LeBron has openly questioned the 82-game schedule in modern times, pointing to travel demands, pace, and the science of injury prevention. To some, that is leadership and honesty. To others, it sounds like complaining. The truth probably sits somewhere in the middle. The game is faster now. The medical data is more precise. Teams invest hundreds of millions into protecting their stars. That changes decisions. The media angle adds another layer. On the Bill Simmons podcast, Charles Barkley criticized how debates around Jordan versus LeBron turned toxic. Mention Jordan's 10 scoring titles and some fans explode. Mention LeBron's longevity and others dismiss it. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has publicly suggested that LeBron should carry himself with more restraint at times. When legends speak, people listen. At the heart of it, this is not just about games missed or social media posts. It is about respect across generations. Some former players feel the modern era leans too heavily on branding and narrative control. They see a PR machine that shields LeBron from criticism while amplifying his milestones. Meanwhile, LeBron's supporters argue that he has handled unprecedented pressure since high school, delivered championships to 3 franchises, and carried himself without major scandals in a 20-plus year spotlight.
First and foremost, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket.
But for him and his guys, if you don't say he's the greatest ever, it's like you could commit treason.
The frustration from critics comes down to this. They believe greatness demands sacrifice without excuses. They believe kings show up no matter the circumstances. LeBron's camp believes greatness also means longevity, adaptability, and smart preservation. 2 philosophies, 1 crown. and a debate that refuses to die. If you are an old school fan, 2011 is the moment you always circle. That finals is the foundation of your entire case. The first year of the Miami Heat super team, LeBron in his prime, Dwyane Wade beside him, Chris Bosh as the third star, heavy favorites. The league felt like it was about to witness a coronation. Instead, it watched a collapse. LeBron did not just lose that series against the Dallas Mavericks. He struggled in a way nobody expected. He averaged 17.8 points across the finals. In Game 4, with the series tight and momentum hanging in the air, he scored 8 points in 45 minutes, shooting 3 for 11. 8. For critics, that number is burned into memory. They ask you straight up, can you picture Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant putting up 8 in a finals game and looking passive? They cannot see it. In their minds, those guys would rather fire up bad shots than disappear. It was not just the total. It was the fourth quarters. LeBron averaged 3 points per fourth quarter in that series. Meanwhile, role players like J.J. Barea and Jason Terry were hitting big shots. That contrast fueled the narrative that he deferred when the spotlight was brightest. Fair or harsh, that is the label that stuck. Then came the hallway clip. Before Game 5, LeBron and Wade were caught joking about Dirk Nowitzki battling illness. The fake coughing moment went viral fast. Critics saw it as immature. Dirk responded the only way that mattered. He dropped 29 in Game 5. Dallas took control. They closed the series in Miami in Game 6. That championship became Dirk's legacy stamp and LeBron's scar. For many fans, 2011 is not just a loss, it is a turning point. They argue that the league changed after that era. Rivalries softened. Players trained together in the offseason. Social media blurred the lines between enemies and friends. The old narrative was about grudges, edge, and personal battles. Shaq once admitted he would invent beef just to stay sharp. That mentality defined the 90s and early 2000s. LeBron's era feels different, more collaborative, more business-focused. Through Clutch Sports Group and his partnership with Rich Paul, he helped redefine player empowerment. Supporters call it smart. Critics call it calculated narrative control. They point out how media framing often shifts. If he wins, it highlights brilliance. If he loses, the conversation turns to roster flaws, injuries, or age. By 2026, that divide is sharper than ever. Some believe LeBron mastered not only the court, but also the boardroom and the headlines. Others feel that greatness should not need that kind of protection. For Shaq, and for fans who think like him, the debate is not about points or seasons played. It is about edge. It is about whether the most gifted player of his generation chose pure competition or chose brand first. That is why 2011 still echoes. Not because it erased LeBron's career, but because it exposed something human. And for critics, that one finals will always be the crack in the crown.